Hello and welcome to focusIR. I am John Human and I'm very pleased to be joined today by Brian Goodman, who is CEO of Golden Matrix, which is a Nasdaq-listed developer of gaming entertainment technology. Welcome, Brian.
Thanks for having me, John.
No, a pleasure to have you on. So perhaps to kick us off, tell us a bit about the company and its mission. What does it do to remind our viewers of what Golden Matrix does?
So I guess in summary, we're an iGaming company, but we're quite diverse. In fact, that's one of our strengths is diversity. And aside from having a diverse set of iGaming products, we also diverse in terms of the fact that we operate in over 21 licensed jurisdictions, 21 countries around the world. The company itself offers anything from sportsbook to casino, online casino, to raffle ticket type businesses, and then also we offer B2B services. So we build online casino environments for operators, and we provide our technology. So and we have a game studio as well. So we provide online casino games, slots, primarily slots.
Yeah, so there's a lot of technology behind the business. I guess it's evolved quite substantially over the years.
Just a little. So yeah, we started. Golden Matrix actually started in 2016. So not too long ago. But I've been in the business for many years. I'm one of the pioneers of online gaming. I started out operating in the US. I had a few brands. A B2C business and online casino brands. And then in 2000 and I think it was 6 or somewhere around there was the Unlawful Internet Gaming Act. And so therefore we had to close down and we looked to do something else. And ultimately it ended up with what we have today. We had the technology, we had the know-how, and we put together a company. And we listed it on a US stock exchange. Originally, it was on the OTC markets, and then because of the success of the company, the performance, our strength of that balance sheet, historical performance, we uplisted to Nasdaq naturally. So that was a big achievement.
Yeah, so it's interesting you mentioned the game, essentially a gaming ban in 2006, because the environment has changed substantially now. It's very much a sort of friendly jurisdiction towards the gaming industry. So perhaps tell us what other trends are shaping this industry. What sort of technological and regulatory and social trends are shaping this industry now?
So yeah, it's just starting off with the fact that just only a few years ago it was prohibition. That's what was happening. Now all of a sudden it's all become regulated, and the whole world is regulating. It's not just, one or two countries. It's everybody is regulating. And I guess there are a number of reasons for it. It's potentially better to have regulations in place and have people betting illegally on non-compliant businesses. And so, and on the other front also, it's good money for the government. So for the states, it's it's good income because the taxes are needed. And so in terms of the evolution, that's a big change, a big movement right now. And we've just in this year alone we've gained, I think, 4 licenses. One of them, we're about to get our Brazilian license, which is probably the 3rd largest gaming business in the world, online betting business. And so that's a big achievement. But in terms of that, people refer to developing markets, whereas the European markets are fairly mature because they've been around, these betting markets, for many years. But they refer to developing markets such as Brazil, whereas people think, well, developing market, small market, maybe not that mature. But these markets are very large markets. They very intense sports betting markets, and they're huge opportunities for people such as ourselves. And then in what else has changed is technology. So obviously the internet in itself has changed a lot, But in terms of the power of these products, it comes down to the technology. We believe we have one of the best technologies available. 80% or more of sportsbook operators use other people's technology, so they don't have their own. And we certainly do. We have a new generation technology that was just launched this year, the new version of it. And I think the closest to us would be somewhere around 7 or 8 years old. So when you look at the power of technology, a lot happens certainly in this world in a couple of years, never mind 7 years. But in terms of all of that, the big buzzword around town in all businesses, not only ours, is artificial intelligence, AI. And in terms of gaming, it's an extremely powerful tool because it creates, call it a much better user experience, because it absorbs all the information and it interrogates what it sees in terms of data, and it then acts on that in real time as well. And so a person who may back Manchester United or whatever it may be, the system knows that he's a supporter of the team. It's not going to offer him Liverpool. A bet on Liverpool, never going to happen. The guy's never going to place $1 on them, and so we're wasting our time now. So it focuses on providing that experience, and we have things that I think the market has never seen before. Things that are called bet recommenders, for instance, that it recommends the bets for the person. It reminds them that there's a match on. It reacts in real time. So the big money to be made in sports betting is in real play, in play betting. So in terms of a football match that's going on, the win and loss, the outcome of a game is not a very profitable bet for bookmakers, because it's very competitive. There are a lot of people out there. A person can have multiple accounts. They can look around, see where they can get the best price. So they would generally take the best odds they can. But in terms of where the money's to be made for a sports betting operator is in real time, when people are emotionally attached to the game. They're watching it in real time. It's on TV, or they're in a pub and they're watching it. And so that's where the power exists, and that's where the technology is needed. So in our instance, we take in all feeds, such as, the big end of town providing us the data feeds. And we have these algorithms and systems that interrogate the feeds and spit out odds in real time. We can offer up to maybe 2,000 bets per match. So you gives you an idea of what technology can achieve. It would be impossible for you to physically have, say, 500,000 players online and try and sit there and dish out these odds. If you don't have the technology, you really can't compete.
Yeah, and it was actually my next question I was going to ask you. That this is a massive opportunity, the global gaming market. There are lots of people going after it, and it sounds like technology gives you a massive head start on a lot of those competitors. But then I'm assuming there's more to it than that. What else is it that gives you as a business the advantage as you expand around the world?
Well, I think, in terms of, and I always say this, I sound like broken record, if that's a saying that's recognized in today's world.
I think Vinyl's Kate making a comeback.
Somebody will understand what I mean. But the fact of the matter is that most of these businesses are based on acquisition costs compared to lifetime value of a player. And so it's this very simple formula. But whilst it looks simple in terms of you can buy a player for X amount of money, and then you can get over his lifetime Y amount of money, and the difference between that is what you'll make in profitability. But it becomes challenging in that it's very competitive to get players. The prices are high. Certainly in America, you can see there's a whole graveyard of people that have tried and failed. The costs of getting players were more than what they could achieve in revenues from the players. And so what happens is the more players you get, the worse your business becomes, because you have an upside down situation. And so your costs are higher than than your income, and like I say, as you get more, you get worse. So in terms of that, you need experience, and you need the technology, and you need recruitment capabilities. So you could either have a very powerful brand that people are drawn to, that's synonymous with gaming, and we have a very strong brand recognition in the markets that we operate. But also you have other allied products, and so what we have is, as I mentioned, we have like sweepstake type products that recruit players at very low prices. Call it £2.50. We can recruit a player, and on their first purchase, they pay for themselves, which is unheard of. And so once you have those kind of mechanisms, and what you can do is you can ramp it up. You can keep on acquiring because it's self-fulfilling. But if your formula is upside down, then it doesn't work out. And in order to get the highest value from those players, you need, as I mentioned, you need artificial intelligence to back you up. You need loyalty tools to keep the person loyal. And you need experience in how to keep, these players playing, because I also, is sort of a part of a training exercise, and tell people, our staff members, that we're not like a dress shop where a person comes in and buys an outfit, and then what happens is the dress shop gets the money and they're happy because they made a sale, and the person who received the dress is happy, and you need to have two happy parties in terms of the outcome, and the only way you can do that is to offer an entertaining sort of experience, and the loyalty tools become very important.
So I mean, this sounds like you're at the top of the game in terms of the industry. Tell us how this is translating into financial performance.
So, yeah, I mean, in terms of us, we're a very conservative company. We're not a very big company, but we've always been, in terms of, and now I'm speaking for Meridian as well. So the company started off, it was only a B2B business. It was providing services and technology to gaming operators. But then later on, it moved on from there, and it acquired a sweepstake business, and then just recently it acquired Meridian, which is a sportsbook business. But in terms of financials, both Meridian and Golden Matrix have always been profitable, have always been cash positive, and we've taken a position whereby we enter new markets, and we're fairly cautious. We normally do it with somebody that's on the ground that has experience, and in terms of that, we've been very successful. So it's more like a McDonald's franchise, where we'll go into a new territory, we'll franchise an operation with somebody who's culturally familiar with what's happening in that part of the world, and then we have an option to buy them out. And so traditionally what will happen is we enter the market, and then we acquire that operator over time when it's successful. So we have these I guess recipes for we call it for success, and that's why we've always been profitable, and we have very strong growth. I think quarter on quarter in our last report, we had something like 85% quarter on quarter growth, and we continue to maintain that growth, and we're very careful on our expenditure, and we don't culturally, we don't try and spend other people, get involved in spending other people's money and living the high life. We've always been very respectful to our investors and our shareholders, and run a tight ship.
Obviously, this is a fantastic financial performance, but to keep it going, I think you've talked about the potential of rolling this fantastic platform out to more markets. Perhaps tell us where you've been, where you're coming from in terms of the markets you're in, and where the sort of plans are to go next.
So, in terms of where we were and where we're going is our journey. I mean, we don't have a lot of time, but otherwise I would tell you the life story of potentially where I started when I originally said I was going to list on a US exchange. Everybody said, I've got to be crazy. They know American legal operators, and it seemed crazy at the time. But then when it happened, everybody was quite supportive and thought, wow, that's a good idea. And then when we were on the OTC markets and we said we're going to list on Nasdaq, everybody said, well, how do you do that? How do you do it without a bank or a SPAC or whatever the financial mechanism is to get on Nasdaq? But we naturally qualified because we were successful and we were highly profitable. And so that journey, and then when we acquired Meridian, which was a $300 million transaction, people looked at us and said, well, it's such a small company, how are you going to achieve that? And we did. We put that together, and we told people we'll get a license in Brazil, and everybody looked at us and said, wow, that is, such a massive market. How are you going to get a license in Brazil? And out of, I think, 133 people that were on the expression of interest list, as far as we know, that list is diminished, to a small level. I can't tell you the number, but it's a very small number of operators now that will get a license, and we will be one of them. So in terms of the journey, we'll continue to develop our technology because we believe it has an edge. We'll continue to obviously deliver profits, but we'll also expand our footprint. We'll open in other countries, and we'll also acquire new businesses, accretive businesses that are making money, that are profitable, and businesses that offer some synergy to what we do.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a very well thought through strategy with lots of fantastic technology and expertise behind it. Brian, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for joining us.